Are you ready for your new favorite soup recipe this winter? Follow along. One of my favorite soups that I was introduced to back in college was a mulligatawny. And it had something in it that shocked me at the time. It had apples in it. So not only was it a rich, delicious, fragrant soup, but it had a slight bit of sweetness to it through these apples. And I was in love with it at the time. Fast forward many years, and I have since put together my own variation of a mulligatawny. This one, instead of using chicken, I am using just red lentils in it, and it is one of my favorite comfort foods for the cold season. In this soup, I have, as I mentioned, red lentils, which is the main protein in there, and tons of spices. We have cumin seeds, we have mustard seeds, ground coriander, we have turmeric, we have cinnamon in here. We also use, like I mentioned, an apple. I'm using a Granny Smith apple. We have garlic and ginger. We have carrots, onion, and tomato in this, and it is an incredible mix of flavors. So let's get started on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is place this in this pan and just let it dry roast. We don't want to let them burn, so you do kind of have to pay attention to what's going on with these seeds. And I'm going to start to grind this. There are easier ways to grind your spices, but I do love this. If for anyone who just enjoys the process of cooking, this is a really lovely way to get into it, to become kind of a mindful cook. And as you're grinding this, you can really smell these flavors come up. Another reason I use whole spices as much as I can is because it really does preserve the spices, and you have a very fresh, fragrant flavor. And this is a great way to start the soup. So that is, I could probably do a little bit more, but I think I've touched most of the seeds here. So I'm just going to leave this, and then I'm going to add some olive oil to this pan and let this heat as well. As soon as this is heated enough, I'm going to add some onions to this. I love hearing that sizzle. This is another part of mindful cooking that I really enjoy. So this story of mulligatawny goes back to the occupation of India by the British. And this is what I've read, at least, about it. The British generals wanted to have a soup as part of their course for eating, but in Indian culture there wasn't a soup, so they simply made a curry soup up. And that is apparently the story of how mulligatawny came around. So it is actually deep-rooted in British culture as well as potentially in Indian culture. I don't know how true that story is, but I do love it. I think that's kind of funny. And for a long time, this used to be called pepper water as well. Okay, the onions and the carrots are browning here. I am going to now add some of these spices so they can sort of mix in. So again, I have the pre-ground coriander, the turmeric, and the cinnamon going in here. And I'm also going to add the spices I just ground, the mustard and the cumin to this. And we're just going to mix all of this in and heat it. You can also use some canned tomatoes if you would like. That's in the recipe. And this is a large apple. Usually I don't have quite this much apple, but again, I love this part of the recipe. So we've been letting this cook for a few more minutes, and I'm now going to add the red lentils. There's a half a cup of red lentils in here, and I'm also adding I'm actually using water. You can also use a broth of choice. This is about 4.5 cups of water. So this is where I'm going to cook it. If you need to add a little bit more, you can do that at the end after you see how it cooks. And at this point, I am going to cover it and just let it cook here for about 30 minutes, and then I will check on it. Okay, I am just checking on the soup. It's been cooking for about 15-20 minutes right now, and you can see the flavors, the food is blending together. This is a great way to end your day, a warm bowl of soup. You can serve it with some bread or maybe some rice if you would like, something like that. Or you could just eat this on your own. This is a great go-to. Just add a little bit more coconut milk, which is high in those really healthy calories and medium chain triglycerides. Okay, enjoy. For more recipes, go to integrating-nutrition.com.